Hello, YouTube. This is Mr. Hamilton. Welcome back to Mr. Hamilton's Educational Grind channel. Today, we're going to be looking at standards 7.21 all the way through 2.3. Looking at some key material and some sources that students have to analyze and answer questions about for their homework. So let's go through Google Classroom where they're located. On your screen, you'll see where it says Homework Review DBQ. You click that, go to the instructions, and I'm going to open up the document. Students that don't have internet access will have I have sent home a paper copy, so you should have that as well. So let's look at our documents. Document-based questions. That's what DBQ stands for. The task says, if we can get there, using the information from seven documents, Part A in your knowledge of history. It says write an essay. We're not worrying about the essay portion. We're just doing the DBQ short answer questions. Keywords that we need to know that'll be in a lot of the questions. Describe means to illustrate something in words or tell about it. Explain. It means to make plain or understandable. To give reasons for or causes of. To show the logical development of relationships. So what I'm going to do and explain, we've seen that before. We've defined that and used that in our questions in our QFT in class. So that should be familiar. But what I'm simply going to do, I'm not giving answers, but I'm going to point out, highlight some key things in the questions, and in the documents. I also want to pull up our steps as well that we use to follow when answering questions. Try to keep this between 6 to 7 minutes at the latest. Um, so bear with me. Here we go. See if I can pull that up real quick. Question steps. Type that in the steps. Computer's moving a little slow. Y'all bear with me. Just wanted to pull those up and have those in a window. Computer's going pretty slow. But never mind. Even if the steps don't pop up, looks like they're coming now. Maybe not. But we know the steps. So with that being said, I was trying to wait on it. But with that being said, let's follow them. First step is to identify the keywords in the question. If we look at question number one in document one, it says, what are two effects of the French and Indian War that escalated tensions between the American colonists and British government? So by looking at that, I highlighted some keywords that I felt were really important in phrases that I should be looking for in the text, right? I'm looking for two effects of the French and Indian War that escalated tensions between the colonists and British government. So what are two effects? So you have down below, this question is a little different because it actually identifies the two effects. Now you just have to find evidence of those two. I actually answered this one, I forgot. It says the British government's attempt to impose taxes on the colonists. That's one effect that I found in the text. If you look up to the top, I'm looking for two effects. I highlighted right here the British government's attempts to impose taxes on the colonists. And B, the disputes would ultimately spur colonial rebellion. They eventually developed into a full-scale war for independence, and that came from the text here. All right, so I identified the two effects of the French and Indian War. These are things that happened after the French and Indian War. Anytime you see effects, it's going to be something that actually took place after. So I highlighted the keywords in my question. Boom, first. Second step, I went to the actual source and I found similar words, if not exactly the same way it was written, but similar in some way. But in this case, I was able to find pretty much the same words and terms. So now I know I'm in the right area of the text. Then I pulled that information and identified it below, answering all parts of my question because it asked for two. So let's move to the next source. Document two. All right. So document two. All right. Before I get there, I'm gonna read my question, highlight the key words. According to line two, what were the funds from the Stamp Act going towards? All right. So according to line two, I'm gonna highlight line two in green. Okay. Next key thing, that's telling me where I need to go in the source. What were the funds from the Stamp Act going towards? So I need Stamp Act. Highlight that in green as well. And funds. We know that's money. We draw connections there. All right. So got my keywords. Let's see what were those funds being used for. And I need to go to line two according to this document. So first step. Now second step, let's find the information in the text that's connected to it. Line two is here. All right. Plantations in America towards further defraying the expenses of defending, protecting, and securing the colonies. in the British colonies and plantations in America towards further defraying, the expenses of defending, protecting, and securing the colonies. So I'm gonna highlight that. See that towards as well. Let me highlight that towards. I knew I should have. I just wasn't 100% behind it at first, but towards, because what's that money actually going towards and what it's being used for? So I'm gonna highlight that whole little phrase right there. Has some keywords out of my question. I see towards, um, protecting, securing the colonies, and it's in line 2. So we got a connection here between towards, and I didn't even highlight that at first, but I saw it in the text, and I remember reading it in my question, so I still was able to draw that connection. So I went back and highlighted. So what were the funds from the Stamp Act going towards? Seems to me that it was going towards protecting the colonists, all right, defending them. Um, you can rephrase that. I want you to actually paraphrase and rephrase it in new words. Use similar wording. Then you can use parts of the source and parts of the information you pull, text evidence. But what I don't want us to get in the habit of is just copying and pasting everything. Let's take some of the words out that we don't need. We just need to focus on the key terms out of the text that really drive home our answers and our point. The second question says, according to lines 3 and 4, what was the Stamp Act taxing? All right. So it also identifies again where we need to go. Lines 3 and 4. I'm gonna highlight that. And what was the Stamp Act taxing? I'm gonna just get that whole little phrase. All right. And now look for what was it taxing, 3 and 4. 3 says, for every skin or piece of vellum, or parchment, or sheet or piece of paper on which shall be engrossed, written or printed within the British colonies and plantation in America, a stamp duty of 3 pence. So, for every parchment, sheet of paper printed in the colonies. So anything paper-wise, it seems to me, was being taxed. All right. So I drew a connection. Stamp Act taxing. All right. For every piece of sheet of a piece of paper which shall be engrossed or written or printed within the British colonies in plantations in America. What was it taxing? Printed documents, anything that was written on, any type of paper, right? So keep that in mind as we go through the rest of the source. I'm gonna go through maybe one more, and then I'm gonna let you all take it the rest of the way. But I'm just pointing out some key things and what we need to be looking for following those 3 steps. I think 3 steps came up eventually. Mastery question steps. There we go. Found them. Those are the 3 steps, you guys. Identify the main ideas of the question, keyword, subject of the question. Second step, search for those terms in the sources, skim the text for subjects and similar meaning terms. And thirdly, look at your answer choices and eliminate wrong answers and keep those that you can prove with evidence. So that is specifically in the case of multiple choice questions. But in that third one, when you got an open constructed response like this, where it's written, you just list your answer, citing evidence. All right. I need to add that to it. I'm going to add that to the mastery step questions. Eliminate wrong answer, constructive response. So I'll put constructive response. Cite evidence. For answer. All right, we'll just do that for that one. That's where it sees around. All right, cool. Let's do one more and we'll get out of here. We'll have time looking. We're not at the 10-minute mark yet. Almost. We had 8 minutes. So let's check out one more really, really fast. My students are about to come back. According to, I don't know like that. Let's look at 5. 5 is an illustration. What historical event, I'm going to highlight, does this image illustrate? So we're looking for the historical event that this image illustrates. Cite evidence from the text. All right. So got my keywords. Now I'm looking at the source. See what does it illustrate. Document 5. Looking at the titles. The Bloody Massacre perpetuated in King Street, March 5th, 1770. Paul Revere. So I'm looking for key things that are connected to the words in my actual question. I want to draw that home, and then I want to just apply the information that I pulled from it to develop a response, citing evidence, of course, to support my claim. You guys, I hope this video was insightful and able to give you what you need to complete your assignment. If you have any more questions, just comment below, like, share, subscribe. Thank you.